The last 2 decades saw some of the worst accounting scandals in history. Billions of dollars were lost as a result of the accounting scandals, which destroyed companies and ruined people's lives. Many of these accounting scandals were a result of the excessive greed of a few individuals whose actions led to disastrous consequences, which brought down whole companies and affected millions of people.
Accounting can offer you a lot of insight into the character of management. You run into a fair amount of bad accounting. I used to call it creative accounting, but and you probably run into a lot more if it was allowed. But some companies have been able to push their auditors pretty far, and I would be very skeptical of anything that looks suspicious to you. There are people out there who will try to paint pictures with accounting that are something far from economic reality, and sometimes the rules of accounting themselves lead to that. I would say that when the accounting confuses you, I would just tend to forget about it as a company. I mean, it may well be intentional, and in any event, you don't want to go near it. We have never had any great investment results from companies whose accounting we regarded as suspect. I can't think of one. Can you, Charlie?
No.
It's a very bad sign.
I made a short sale once that worked out well in a case like that.
Oh.
It has been 60 years since Warren Buffett took over the struggling Berkshire Hathaway textile company and began converting it into a massive conglomerate. During these years, Buffett has been maintaining Berkshire Hathaway's scandal-free clean image with quite ease. So how Warren Buffett keep his company's clean reputation when it comes to financial reporting and business accounting?
We like places that care about expenses. Jack Welch had something in his book about no company ever going broke from cutting expenses too rapidly. We try to watch all expenses around Berkshire, and I think that at our subsidiaries, generally speaking, we have managers that are very, very good about that. And I think that our audit costs relative to the size of the enterprise and all of that, I think are fairly low, although they're not as low as they were a few years back. But it's something that we care about, I can assure you that.
One of the reasons our audit costs are so low is we have this passion for keeping everything simple. We don't want to be difficult to audit. And we prefer our activities that are simple. If you take the See's Candy Company, the whole company goes to cash at the end of December every year as if it were a farm where the crop came in and was sold in December. I mean, an idiot could audit the See's Candy Company without getting into trouble. And there's a lot in Berkshire that's like the See's Candy Company. It would be really hard to screw up.
We don't like complicated accounting. I mean, we really do like things that produce cash.
Enron Corporation was a U.S. energy company based out of Texas. In one of the most controversial accounting scandals in the past decade, it was discovered in 2001 that the company had been using accounting loopholes to hide billions of dollars of bad debt while simultaneously inflating the company's earnings. The scandal resulted in shareholders losing over $74 billion as Enron's share price collapsed from around $90 to under $1 within a year. An SEC investigation revealed that the company's CEO and former CEO had kept billions of dollars of debt off the company's balance sheet. In addition, they had pressured the company's auditing firm, Arthur Andersen, to ignore the issue. The two were convicted, and the scandal led to the bankruptcy of Enron and dissolution of the auditing firm, Arthur Andersen.
Enron is a good example. Enron's grotesque in what happened, but there's no question in my mind that auditors have been unduly compliant to client wishes over the last few decades, and more so as they went along, even to the point where they started suggesting what I would consider quite dubious accounting to people in mergers and so on, so as to make their figures look better later on. And I've seen it firsthand. So I think that although the auditors are supposed to work for the shareholders, that they got too much so they were working for management. But I think that Enron may push them back significantly, even in the other direction. So I think Enron will have a distinct beneficial effect on auditing, and it was needed.
So it's going to have a distinct beneficial effect on one fewer auditors.
Obviously, if some prepaid expense, deferred asset accounts start building up suspiciously high, and inventories look out of line, with sales and particularly the trend of them and all that, you want to look twice at companies like that. Life insurance, frequently, we see weak accounting in it. When you don't have a product where revenues and expenses are being matched up on something close to cash in the short term, you have the opportunity for people playing games with numbers. And some people have learned how to do that very well, and they've sometimes created long-lasting stock manipulation or promotion schemes that have enriched themselves where they've enriched the managers or the creators of it at the expense of the public over time. If you ever get suspicious about accounting, just go on to the next company.
So how do you avoid accounting fraud?
Capitalism without failure. Somebody once said it's like religion without sin, or
Religion without hell.
religion without hell. Maybe you should be extraordinarily careful if you're a professional partnership with what clients you take on and how far you go for them. The law firms that I admire most have fairly strict cultures of risk control. I think it's crazy in the kind of world we inhabit to operate in any other way.
Charlie Munger once said, "Creative accounting is an absolute curse to a civilization." One could argue that double-entry bookkeeping was one of history's great advances. Proper accounting is like engineering. You need a margin of safety. Thank God we don't design bridges and airplanes the way we do accounting.